want you to get the wrong impression. I've never ever been for a debate for the sake of debate. Debating just to debate is sophistry. Genuine engagement of the dialectic, which would be Pythagorean, and Platonic would be arriving at the answer to something. Yeah? There used to be a show on TV that would show these burglars, and they were retired burglars, and they'd show some of the dumb things that people will do. They like have a solid steel door with like 10 locks on the door, which is like basically impenetrable, and yet the window right next to it would be open. Interested in making a discussion on how to win a debate, but like I said, I'm not interested in sophistry. Interested in arriving at the answer to something. Because 99% of debates are exactly like this. I've never seen anybody make a video on it. I've got a lot of books on debate, and people don't discuss this. They're very, very intelligent books on debate. You know, the fallacy of composition, red herrings, all the different types of fallacies, but they don't really get down to what's actually important in winning a debate. And I've found this always to be true. I've never found a point where this is not true. And I actually am an expert on debate. I've been debating a lot of topics for decades, specifically what the meaning of anatta is, discussing atomism. It's like, how do you win in a debate? Well, most people's debates are their opinion or their idea that they have in their head. They're attached to their beliefs, of course. And they have built like the steel door. It's got 10 locks on it and a steel door, like fingers that come out that wedge in the door frame. It's impenetrable, but they leave the window open. So, doing an end-run move in debating on anybody and anything. You know, a truth seeker, and this is really, really important too. I've never heard anybody mention this except me. A genuine truth seeker is someone that loves facts, logic, and wisdom. This is so important, and it's something they should have taught you in school, but they never did. Just think about this for a second, because I'm not wrong, I'm 100% right. If you're a truth seeker and you debate someone, yeah, or something, even if that's debating something in your head, it's like, well, is this true? You know, I keep reading this, but is it true? You're debating yourself. But if a truth seeker, someone loves facts, logic, and wisdom, above all else, right? Not their beliefs or their feelings and opinions, blah, blah, blah. Some sort of emotional person that's not logical. If you're proven out to be true, then you know you're on the right track, or you're standing in the center of truth regarding a particular subject, and that's wonderful. However, and this shows how attached to personal beliefs people are. A genuine truth seeker loves to be proven wrong. Why? If you have a logical, intelligent debate based upon facts, logic, wisdom, and evidences, depending on what it is you're discussing, you're proven wrong. It means you're headed in the wrong direction. And by loving the truth and knowing that you are not your beliefs, you're pointed in the right direction, then this is something a truth seeker loves. It's like, before I was kind of close maybe, or I could have been completely on the wrong track because I didn't know all the facts. Because today is everything about sound bites. You know, the news are, of course, a bunch of liars, but you can never get to the truth of something. Usually the truth is a lot more complicated. You can't sum up the truth on a million different subjects, you know, in a 60-second soundbite. And that's all because people are suffering from intellectual incontinence. Let me repeat that again. Intellectual incontinence. Repeat after me. They actually, you know, they just, like the 60 minutes is all their brain can take. Truth is usually a lot more complicated than that. Not necessarily the truth is a gray area always versus black or white. But if you're on the wrong track and you're pointed in the right direction, either through debating yourself, mulling over the facts in your mind using facts, logic, and wisdom, and Platonic retroduction, or someone else that's a lot more learned on the subject, it's like, you know, you're wrong because boom, 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 boom. Oh, wow, I was thinking the truth was over here, but it's over here. A truth seeker loves that because they are now closer to the truth, closer to facts, logic, and wisdom. So if you're a truth seeker and you're proven right, wonderful. If you're a truth seeker and you're proven wrong, even better. Because you're off on the wrong track, you're looking in the wrong direction. It's like, no, fool, it's over here. Oh, I see now. And people are not like that. Kids should have been taught this really, really important thing in school, high school, college. They're not. If you're a truth seeker, you love wisdom, which is the highest position, even if you're not that smart, because intelligence is not important. Yeah, that's episteme, not wisdom, which is gnosis. The fact that you love being proven wrong. Why would I love being proven wrong, teacher? Because if you're proven wrong, that means you've been pointed in the right direction. And anybody that loves the truth loves being pointed in the right direction. Oh, yeah, you're right. So it's good to be proven right, and it's even better to be proven wrong. I just had to talk about that. It's so incredibly important. Anyway, discussing these topics, like the steel door there with like 10 locks on the door. This is really important. It's not about loving debate. It's about loving truth, facts, logic, and wisdom, and not letting somebody, mess you up with nonsense. A lot of people love to throw glitter in your face and lie to you. It's like, that's just not truthful. That's not logical. What are your evidences for this nonsense that you've said? Is it you get to the foundation, like those ex-burglars? They would talk about, the heinously locked door that's impenetrable, but the window right next to it's open. It's like, well, let's get in through the window. Path of least resistance. And I've found this always to be true, and I can call myself an expert in debate because I've done a lot of debating, a lot of it, is that people shore up like their door, but they have a foundation built out of jello, yeah? Or worse, water or sand, analogously. On debating these topics like atomism and anatta and a million other things, people will have like a list of quotes and a list of things that they think supports their position. Their entire foundation is jello or sand or water, even the worst. It's just like that open window. It's like, I want to get into the house, I can't get in through the front door. End run around. The foundation is always weak. If something that you know inherently is illogical and weak, you always look for the foundation because the foundation is weak. And people ask me all the time about the dual slit experiment of light. And I say, well, what about the observer effect and the dual slit experiment? I say, well, there is no observer effect of light. It starts out with false suppositions. You cannot perform an experiment on something. Say this. If you don't know what this is, well, I'm going to do an experiment. It's called the dual slit experiment, and this is my subject matter for experimentation in case of the dual slit experiment. The subject matter is light. Well, that experiment starts out with a bunch of suppositions about light which are not true. The fact that light is a particle or a wave-particle duality, or that light's an emission, or that light has a speed, all of those suppositions are incorrect. These are the people that not only don't know what light is, they cannot tell you for the save their own life what a field is. What's a field? Field's lines of force. Force is not a thing. Force is something done upon something by something else. Force is not a thing. There's no such thing as waves either. Sure there is, waves. And that's all these people love to talk about. Is waves. Waves of this, waves. Waves of what? There's no such thing as a wave. Yeah? It's not. Also, too, in discussing these things with GR, i.e. general relativity, and quantum, which is a belief system, not a science, it starts out with the supposition that everything is bumping particles. Virtual photons for which there's no evidence, and bumping particles. They literally say this themselves. In a magnet, it's emitting virtual photons. So it's completely ludicrous. It's asinine. It's illogical. It's absurd. There's only ever been, and this is really important, I've talked about this endlessly, only been 2 suppositions about the nature of reality ever postulated since the beginning of recorded history. One is atomism, yeah, bumping particles, yeah. The other one is the ether. Now, there are a lot of different theories about the ether. Some of them, quite a few of them actually, are ludicrous, illogical, and absurd. But just because there are ludicrous, illogical, absurd theories about the ether does not discount the ether. Those are just ludicrous theories or hypotheses about the ether. But there's only ever been these 2. Atomism is completely impossible. You can't explain wireless power induction. You can't explain light. You can't explain instantaneous action at a distance. There's a million things that will not work, and that's the foundation. The foundation of atomism, general relativity, and quantum is all atomistic. It reifies math. It reifies concepts. The entire foundation of the great palace, castle, if you will, of atomism is based upon jello. Even worse, water or sand. The whole foundation is weak. But the castle itself is fortified with PhDs. Well, I have a PhD in theoretical physics. What do you know, you fat, bald, tattooed so-and-so? It's like, yeah, I ain't fat, bald, tattooed. But your entire foundation is jello. This well-fortified castle. Yeah, all of it. With the people, with the bows and arrows, and all the soldiers and whatnot in the castle, if you will, of this ideology, this belief system. That's all well for it. You can't get through the front gate of that castle. It's not. They've fortified it with a bunch of professors, PhD. Well, you know, PhD, you know, I'm peer-reviewed. But the whole castle sits on jello. It's like you don't have to go through the front door. Try to go through the castle. The whole foundation is nonsense. Literally every illogical and absurd thing has been fortified, this well-fortified castle. Its foundation is made out of jello or water or sand, analogously. I've encountered this throughout my entire life of debate, not only debating atomism, this idea of soullessness within original sultana, you know, i.e. the Nikayas, Digha Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Samyutta Nikaya, Anguttara Nikaya, Khuddaka Nikaya, i.e. Panch Nikaya. The original doctrine. There's no such thing as soullessness. There's no foundation for that. There's not even one iota of substantiation for it. Not even one. The term is never used pejoratively. The idea of liberation without a liberant, the idea of immortality, i.e. amata, without a subject that attains immortality, is impossible if you dismiss the soul. It's completely ludicrous. The whole foundation is built on jello. They're so proud of their castle that they built that they've completely ignored that originally it was built on jello. They're always anticipating an attack on the castle and debating things that are illogical, absurd, asinine, unintelligent, unwise, implausible, illogical, ridiculous, cuckoo, cuckoo. The castle is always impressive, and they make it impressive. But it's kind of like Hollywood. You ever seen Hollywood sets back in the day? They'd build the front of buildings. Yeah. It had drapes hanging in the windows, but the building was only about like that thick. They'd build these things for the movies. They didn't have to build the buildings, they just had to build the front of it. Makes it look real, though. This is how you win in a debate. And I kid you not, right now, I have, like I said, countless books of professional level debate, you know, how to debate, but they don't talk about this really important fact, that all of these absurdities, they're castles built on top of jello. You go to the foundation. There's a movie about this, too, and I love the movie. It's about... it's called The Imitation Game, about breaking the World War II German Enigma encryption box. You don't crack the code. They're sitting here talking about cracking the code, but the code has changed every day. You should see the movie. It's a great movie. It's based on a true story of, what's his face? I can't think of his name. The guy that Basil Cumberbatch plays. I forget his name. Cracking the code, and it's like they can't crack the code because they change the code every day, at the end of every day, and it has like a bazillion, quadrillion combinations that it could possibly... You can't crack the code. The Germans thought this, and they were right. The English thought this, they were right. It's impossible. Even if you do crack it, even though it's completely impossible, it can't be cracked. They change the code every night. And there's a bazillion, quadrillion, quadrillion combinations, so no one's ever going to crack the code. Well, the smart guy that built the machine, I forget his real name. I'm sorry, what's his frigging name? Anyway, the intelligent guy he built the machine that was not about cracking the code. It was about cracking the machine. He built another machine, an electronic machine that apparently cost 200,000 pounds or something back in the day, which today would be, several million, whatever. So you're not out to crack the code. you're out to crack the machine. Don't have to crack the code. It's cracking the code's impossible. Even if you crack it, who cares? They change the code every night. So you crack the machine. This is no different than what I've said. It's about cracking the foundation. The foundation of nonsense, ludicrous absurdities, is always a foundation made out of jello. You look at the code. See, unintelligent people like look at the code. In the case of that movie, it's called Imitation Game. It's like, you can't crack the code. It's impossible. It's impenetrable. True, but we can crack the machine, and that's way better than cracking the code. Smart one. See, that is thinking smarter, not working harder, because they had people for years there, like working themselves to a tizzy to crack the code. Well, who cares? Change the code every day. Crack the machine. So this is a life lesson that you should learn. Go to the foundation, never the castle. The castle is basically impenetrable, but all these castles of nonsense, lies, and rubbish are built on foundations of jello or sand or water. I forget what's the name of that guy that made the first computer. It was his name escapes me. Someone will tell me. It's like, oh yeah, that's his name. I forgot. I always do that. This is what happens when you think about 10 things at once. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this video was educational and informative, because it was certainly meant to be. And what I taught in this video is actually quite helpful, believe it or not. Thanks.